So the law in Scotland has changed, so now organ donation is an opt-out system, meaning that there's presumed consent when somebody dies. But of course you can make your wishes known in advance by going onto the organ donation register online and opting out and making it clear if that choice is not for you. If you haven't registered an objection, then the presumption will be that you opt in and donate your organ. But your relatives or your next of kin will always be consulted in that process, and their approval will always be sought. So it is important that you make your wishes known to your loved ones so that that conversation, should it ever have to happen, is an easier conversation and that they're clear on what your wishes would be. It's a difficult conversation sometimes that doesn't come up in everyday conversation, but with Organ Donation Awareness Week, we really would urge people to have these conversations with their families and friends, because it really can make the difference to those who are waiting on the transplant waiting list. There's no doubt that this can be a life-saving treatment for people with severe advanced heart failure. We receive referrals from the whole of Scotland. We're the National Heart Transplant Centre for Scotland, and we supply this treatment therefore regardless of where you are in the country. And this service is usually for people who have severe heart failure despite optimal medical therapy or cardiac device therapy, when those treatments aren't enough and when it becomes clear that they're still very symptomatic, have a poor prognosis in terms of life expectancy, then we bring them here and do a transplant assessment. Sometimes people are so unwell when they come here at first, especially if they end up having to be on the urgent heart transplant waiting list where they don't leave hospital until the time they get the heart, or the super urgent transplant waiting list where they're relying on machines to keep them alive until they get their heart. Because they've been so close to death and so physically unwell, sometimes the psychological effect or the mental realisation of what they've been through only hits them once they're recovering on the other side of the operation. And so then that realisation of how near to death they were, and the fact that now they've got a second chance at life, can be really quite dramatic and affect people in lots of different ways. And it can be comments as simple as hearing somebody at clinic saying, you know, I got up the other day and I walked to the window and opened the curtains and thought, I can't believe I'm here and I can go for a walk if I want to today. Something that simple that many of us just take for granted, something that they never thought they might be able to do again. And it really just hits home that transformation and the gift of life that people can give by donating their organs. In Scotland, over the past year and a half, for example, we've done more transplants than we've ever done before in the country, and that's due to a variety of factors. There's no doubt that the change in law, as you know, brought in by the Scottish Government, is one of those factors, and so it was the aim of the government to try and increase organ availability and therefore increase transplant numbers to provide life-saving treatments to the Scottish population. And we've been lucky enough that we have seen that change. We have been able to provide the service to our patient cohort, but it's taken the hard work and dedication of the entire transplant team, the nurses, the perfusionists, the doctors, the surgeons, the ICU staff. It really is a team effort, and it is very labour intensive, but with the backing of the Golden Jubilee, we've been able to deliver the best results that we've ever delivered for heart transplant in Scotland.